Welcome back to the CSIR International Convention Center. We are here, of course, for the 5th edition of the Science Forum. And over the years, South Africa, our government has entered into many partnerships for science, technology and innovation. And I think everybody agrees that those partnerships are absolutely pivotal for everybody to flourish in this space. Well, we are now, as you heard earlier from the Director General, going to be speaking to the EU and, of course, one of the other countries that have a long-standing relationship with South Africa in terms of science, innovation and technology, and that is Switzerland. And let's start there, because South Africa and Switzerland have just recently signed a new agreement, the 5th of its kind, I understand. Jacqueline Friedenthal from the Swiss Embassy joins us to tell us more about that.
Many thanks, Sakina. Yes, we have recently renewed our collaboration, and one of the reasons is that we've endured a very successful collaboration during the last 10 years. It's a courtship that's been going on since 2004, and the agreement was signed in 2007, and annually we're looking at renewing it through the joint committee meeting.
And what sort of benefit has been derived by both South Africa and Switzerland through this partnership?
I would say is our flagship program is the joint research program, where we have had 61 joint research projects, which each the principal investigator. And we've recently done a survey amongst these researchers, and they say that the joint knowledge that they gain, the geographical beneficiation, the infrastructure that is in each other's areas, the trilateral collaboration that they benefit from this. So there's great benefits. And then, of course, some of the research go to impact innovation and commercial innovation.
And this, of course, and I've been saying it's a partnership, because it's very much a partnership.
Yes, I think the Swiss-South African collaboration is quite unique, and because it is a partnership. It's not based on ODA funds. It is equal funding by both sides, which bring in the leverage of negotiations. When the Swiss and the South African teams sit around a table, it's equal negotiations, and it's built on mutual trust, mutual respect for each other, and it's something to be very, very proud of, which actually trickled down to the researchers as well.
And speaking of the research, we're actually standing in front of your stall as Switzerland, and this one here is SWOCSIT, cleaning water with light.
Yes, this is a very interesting project. So what we do is we always bring entrepreneurs from Switzerland to South Africa and from South Africa to Switzerland. So Andre came in 2016, and he came with a prototype looking at the cleaning of water through reverse osmosis. And his prototype was not yet fully developed, and he, in the meantime, has established collaboration with Stellenbosch University, and it's now a joint innovation between Switzerland and South Africa. And this is ultimately what we're looking at, and this is an impact innovation that will come to play once it's fully operational.
Absolutely fascinating. No chemicals, no electricity, and what it does is it literally filters this through light. And the European Union, of course, joining me now is Mr. Patrick Child, who is the DDG, and he leads the policy for implementation, impact and sustainable investment strategies. Thanks for your time as well. So with regard to the European Union, we've just seen a newly appointed EU Commission. How will that impact on the relations with South Africa?
Well, I think it's an exciting time in the European Union and in our relationship, because we've just got a new president and a new commission in place under the leadership of President Ursula von der Leyen. And she set out two really headline goals for the European Union for the next 5 years. Firstly, a Green Deal, making Europe the first carbon neutral continent by 2050. And secondly, making Europe fit for the digital age. So really an emphasis on digital technologies. And these are things where we can cooperate internationally with countries like South Africa. The other thing that she said is she wants Europe to play its full geopolitical role in the world, and she's mentioned in particular Africa as a priority. So I think it's a really good opportunity for us to deepen our science, research and innovation links between the European Union and South Africa and the rest of the African continent.
How do we bridge the gaps, though? You're talking about a carbon neutral footprint for Europe, and as a continent that is still very much in the developmental phase, how do we square up? How do the two mandates basically meet one another?
Well, I think we realize that dealing with climate change, dealing with the challenges of sustainability, it's a global endeavor. I mean, the European Union, yes, is proud to exercise political leadership in the whole debate on climate change, and I think with the new Commission we will take that a step further. But for us to deal effectively with not only the mitigation, so dealing with the reducing the causes of climate change, but also adaptation, helping societies, particularly in countries which are developing countries, adapt to the difficulties of climate change. So here in South Africa, where we now have some rain, but you've had in the last months really serious drought conditions linked probably to climate change, these are the sort of phenomena that we need to work together so that we can find global solutions to global problems.
So you have in Europe the EU's Horizon 2020. We have Agenda 2063 from the African Union. Where are the overlaps?
Well, our programme for research and innovation, Horizon 2020, is open to the world. So we're delighted to cooperate with countries like Switzerland, but we're also happy to work with South Africa. So just to give you some examples of where we are cooperating in particular. Firstly, on health. We have a major initiative on clinical trials for serious infectious diseases like malaria and TB. And we're very happy that the African base of this project, which is going to develop into a sort of global health initiative, is based in Cape Town. So we work with that. We're also working on research infrastructures. So we have the Square Kilometre Array, the world's largest radio telescope, which is based here in the Northern Cape. It's based in Australia with the centre in the European Union and a network of countries around the globe cooperating. So that's a second area where we're working in particular. And I think, well, that gives you an idea of what we're doing together.
Well, it certainly does. And talking about, coming together and collaborating on these efforts to make this a better planet for humanity altogether. Jacqueline, I know the Swiss, you actually have taken students from the University of Venda earlier this year. So what sort of return has there been from that particular endeavor?
Yeah, the collaboration that we have with the University of Venda is focusing on applied research and innovation. We're very, very determined to make sure that what we learn in the laboratory is actually going into the field. So we took a delegation from the University of Venda to explore more areas of collaboration. A Memorandum of Understanding was signed with the University of Applied Sciences in Lucerne and the University of Venda for Applied Research in Energy Efficiency with the application of a building with the Department of Defense. So it will be in the form of a summer school. And then we will work in a village and for applied research and innovation with the Mpapule Development Trust and through the traditional leaders and the universities to look at health and hygiene, energy applications and water safety. So yeah, we're very excited about this.
And of course, Mr. Child, is this your first science forum?
It is, and it's a magnificent event. I mean, it's a really great opportunity to showcase what is best in South African science and what's best in science across the African continent. And I think that what's also important for me in the theme of this conference, it's the link that's established between research, science and innovation. So it's making good scientific ideas into genuinely successful commercial projects. And that contributes to the economy and helps to create jobs. And I think that's what we're about in the scientific community. And I think that comes out very strongly from the meetings that we're having here.
So there you have it from some of our international partners and the collaborations that South Africa has entered into with them. And thanks so much to Mr. Patrick Child. He's the Deputy Director General in Research and Innovation at the European Union Commission, and Jacqueline Friedenthal from the Swiss Embassy. With that, Valen, it's over to you for sport.